Senate will please come to order. In lieu of a devotional today, we'll begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. I'll ask you all to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which stands one nation
under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any announcements this morning? Seeing none, Madam, we have a resolution to take up at this time. Excuse me. The senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Madam President, I just thought, given that we just had a moment of silence, I was hoping we could be thinking of the 500,000 people that we've lost to COVID-19, including our former colleague, Representative Bernie Jeskowitz, and just think in that silence then and in the future about all the people that have been affected by this pandemic.
Thank you, Senator. We will begin today with Senate Resolution SR 8 relating to adoption of a temporary Rule 44A, which was offered by Senator Ballant of Windham. Please listen to the reading of the resolution by title only.
JRS 8, Joint Resolution relating to adoption of a temporary Rule 44A.
Now you've heard the reading of the resolution, and the resolution is placed on the calendar for action tomorrow. We have one Senate bill for introduction today, S89, an act relating to the creation of the Workforce Development Educational Loan Benefit Program for doctors, nurses, and teachers, including child care educators. Introduced by Senators Hooker, Clarkson, Hardy, Lyons, Perchlik, Polina, and Rahm. Please listen to the first reading of the bill.
S89, an act relating to the creation of the Workforce Development Educational Loan Benefit Program for doctors, nurses, and teachers, including child care educators.
Heard the first reading, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs. This brings us to the orders of the day. We have on the calendar for action S86, a committee bill relating to miscellaneous changes to laws relating to vehicles and vessels, which was introduced on February 18th, 2021. Please listen to the second reading of the bill.
S86, an act relating to miscellaneous changes to laws related to vehicles and vessels.
The senator from Essex Orleans, Senator Ingalls, is recognized for an explanation of the bill.
Thank you, Madam President. S86 is nothing that has substantial changes in it. It's a bill that cleans up language after Legislative Council and the drafting operations working on the reprint of Title 23 over the summer discovered lots of changes needed in just wording only, and the big change being that taking the word accident out of the documents and changing it to crash. It is this reporter's wish that they would have changed it to wrecks, but therefore we stayed with crash. Section 1, display of plates. Add to codified law how temporary and in-transit plates shall be displayed, including where within the vehicles, effective 9/8/2020, when DMV started issuing temporary print-yourself plates. Section 2, temporary plates. Add to codified law the temporary print-yourself plates that the DMV has been issuing since 9/8/2020, last for 60 days and cost $6, effective 9/8/2020. Section 3, healthcare education, driving under the influence. Cleanup, no substantive changes. Section 4, power of enforcement officers. Cleanup and clarifies when commissioners refer to the Commissioner of Motor Vehicles or the Commissioner of Public Service. Section 5, certificate of title application, eliminates the requirement that somebody inspects the vehicles to see if the VIN matches the description of the vehicle on the certificate of title application, effective on 4/1/2020, when the DMV started using a vehicle database as opposed to in-person inspections due to COVID-19. Section 6, calibration of tank vehicles, correction. There is no directions of weights and measures. Section 7, lien filing fees, correction. These statuses are in Title 32, not Title 23. Section 8, snowmobile exhaust systems, cleanup and a shift away from a decibel level to a specific certification that aligns with limitations on noise, made at the suggestion of the Governor's Snowmobile Council because of difficulties associated with enforcement under the existing decibel level limitations. Section 9 through 22, miscellaneous vessel law changes, cleanup language from Legislative Council, Vermont State Police, and the U.S. Coast Guard. General efforts to have state law better reflect federal law and be more consistent in the use of words like motorboat, boat, and vessel. Sections 9 and 10, chapter, subchapter, title changes, motorboats to vessel. Section 11, definitions. The majority of these new definitions come from 33 CFR 83.03 and 83.21. The changes to the definitions of motorboat in conjunction with sections 13 and 14 moves two examples from the definition to applicable status. Section 12, numbering, just cleanup language. Section 13, multiple sections, lights, amend state law to be in compliance with the Code of Federal Regulations, specifically 33 CFR 83.22, 83.23, and 83.25. Personal flotation devices, amend state law at the request of U.S. Coast Guards to require wearable personal flotation devices that when worn are properly secured and used as intended by the manufacturer. Fire extinguishers, amend state laws to eliminate the reference to auxiliary powered sailboats, which is possible because the change in definitions to motorboats and corrections reference this class type of fire extinguishers as covered by 46 CFR 25.30. Sections 14, numbering, just cleanup language. Sections 15, validation stickers, substantive changes to increase the threshold for when a motorboat registered in another state or when a federal credential will need a validation sticker to 60 days in any calendar year, up from 30 days in any calendar year. Section 16 through 18, multiple sections, just cleanup language. Section 19, operations between vessels, amended state law to be consistent with 33, 83.14, and 83.17. Operations of personal watercraft, jet skis, amend state laws at the request of the U.S. Coast Guard to require wearable personal flotation devices that are properly secured and used as intended by the manufacturer. Collisions, crashes, and casualties, substantive changes to amend state law to increase the property damage threshold for when the operator of a vessel needs to report a collision, crash, or other casualties to the Commissioner of Motor Vehicles from $100 to $2,000. Sections 20 through 21, multiple changes, just cleanup language. Sections 20 through 22, definitions for titling, amend state laws to incorporate the definition of motorboat into the definition of vessels, which is the word that is used throughout the chapter on titling. Sections 23 through 26, accidents to crash swap, majority of the swaps from accidents to crash. Sections 27 through 30, incorrect capitalization, amend state laws to use a lowercase state law when it is meant to cover any state law and not just Vermont law. Sections 31, commercial driver's licenses, amend state laws to incorporate new requirements on entry-level driver training on 49 CFR Part 380, which is set to become effective on February 7th, 2022. Sections 32, records inspection, corrections. These are incorrect citations. Sections 33, enforcement and 98 repeals language that created a program which no longer exists and established certain requirements, including spending in 1998. Section 34, the effective dates to take place, page 38, line 18 to page 39, line 4, all effective on passage unless otherwise specified. The State Transportation Committee heard from witnesses, Kevin Andrews, Chief of Safety of Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Unit, Department of Motor Vehicles, Lori Bernier of Graniteville, Trevor Carbo, Special Operations Recreation Enforcement, Vermont State Police, Anthea Dexter Cooper, Legislative Counsel, Office of Legislative Counsel, Tony Fakos, Director of Enforcement and Safety, Department of Motor Vehicles, Derek Femby, Agency of Transportation, Todd Law, Maintenance Bureau, Director, Agency of Transportation, Wanda Manoli, Commissioner, Department of Motor Vehicles, Bill Smith, Lobbyist, Vermont Truck and Bus Association, and Michael Smith, Operations Director, Department of Motor Vehicles. Madam President, this completes my report on S86.
Thank you, Senator. The question now is, shall the bill be read a third time? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered third reading of S86. We also have on the calendar for action today S87, a committee bill relating to emergency provisions for the operation of government, which was introduced on February 18th, 2021. Please listen to the second reading of the bill.
S87, an act relating to emergency provisions for the operation of government.
The senator from Rutland, Senator Collmore, is recognized for an explanation of the bill.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to begin my report by letting my colleagues know that every single provision in this committee bill has already been voted on and approved twice by this body. We did this during the last session in reaction to the COVID-19 pandemic, which continues, of course, today. Those provisions are in effect only until the current emergency declaration is lifted. The Senate Secretary has provided a link on an email if you want to follow along. There are 16 sections to the bill, and I will walk through them individually. But basically, the bill takes those lessons learned from COVID-19 and converts them into permanent statutory provisions that may be used in any potential future emergencies. Section 1 provides that during a declared state of emergency, an affected public body may hold electronic meetings without designating or staffing a physical meeting location. Section 2 provides that during the declared state of emergency, a Board of Civil Authority shall not be required to perform in-person inspections pursuant to a grand list appeal. Section 3 provides that during a declared state of emergency, a hearing officer shall not be required to perform in-person inspections pursuant to a grand list appeal. Section 4 provides that during a declared state of emergency that causes financial hardship, a water or sewer service provider shall not disconnect ratepayers from that water or service system. Section 5 provides that during a declared state of emergency, a municipal corporation may extend any statutory deadlines applicable to a municipal corporation, provided it does not relate to state or federal licenses, permits, programs, or plans. Section 6 repeals a requirement that a municipality keeps any unexpended town highway funds separate from the municipal's other funding. Section 7 provides during a state of emergency, the director of OPR may extend for up to 90 days at a time the expiration dates of current OPR licenses and waive any associated late fees if the circumstances of the emergency create a barrier to obtaining renewal. Section 8 provides that during a state of emergency, the director of OPR, in consultation with the Commissioner of Health, may authorize a licensed healthcare professional from out of state who practices in a profession regulated by OPR to be deemed licensed to provide healthcare services to patients in Vermont as long as they are licensed in another state, are in good standing in all states where they're licensed, and not subject to any disciplinary proceedings elsewhere. Section 9 provides that during a state of emergency, the Director of OPR, in consultation with the Commissioner of Health, may authorize former healthcare professionals who left active practice in Vermont in good standing within the last 3 years to provide those healthcare services to patients in Vermont. Section 10 provides that during a state of emergency, if the Director of OPR finds that one of OPR's boards cannot safely meet in person and the Secretary of State authorizes it, the Director can act on behalf of that board. Section 11 provides that during a state of emergency, the Director of OPR can issue regulatory orders, including cis and deceased orders, if necessary, to protect the public. Section 12 begins a similar provision for the Board of Medical Practice. This Section 14 would allow the Executive Director of the Board of Medical Practice during a state of emergency to act on behalf of the board when the Executive Director finds that the board cannot safely meet. Section 13 provides the same authority to allow out-of-state healthcare professionals in professions regulated by the Board of Medical Practice to be deemed licensed during a state of emergency. Section 14 provides the same authority to allow inactive former Vermont healthcare professionals the same courtesy. Section 15 provides during a state of emergency affecting a county, the assistant judges may allow the county sheriff to use the county's reserve funds for the sheriff's emergency needs. And Section 16 provides effective dates. They'll take effect on January 1st, except that the repeal on the highway funds will take effect on July 1st to apply to the next fiscal year. The Government Operations Committee took testimony from David Herlihy, the Executive Director of the Vermont Board of Medical Practice, Carol Dawes from the Municipal Clerks and Treasurers Association, Lauren Hibbert from the Office of Professional Regulation, and representatives of the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. The committee vote was 5-0-0, and we ask the full body to concur. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. The question now is, shall the bill be read the third time? Are you ready for the question? And if so, please unmute. The senator from Chittenden is recognized, and I see a couple of others. The senior senator, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. May I interrogate the reporter of the bill?
You may.
Thank you. I think the provisions that we have put in place in health and welfare and that have been confirmed in this bill make a lot of sense going forward. So I don't have a question about that. But I do have a question relating to the state of emergency and whether or not your committee considered whether this is a local state of emergency declared by a local public health officer, whether this is a state of emergency declared at the state level or the federal level, and whether there was discussion about differentiating between those.
I thank the senator for the question, Madam President. Yes, we did take testimony on that. And the great majority of provisions included in this would only be in effect if the governor declared a state of emergency. There are occasions where a much more localized situation, I believe Chittenden County a few years ago had an ice storm that affected people's being able to move around from place to place. So there would be provisions for that type of situation as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam President. That ends my questions.
Thank you. The senator from Chittenden is recognized. Senator Sirotkin.
Thank you, Madam President. May I inquire of the reporter of the bill?
You may.
Thank you, Madam President. The reporter mentioned that we've voted on these provisions twice already. Was that in the context of the existing emergency order, or did we already vote to support all future, making it applicable to all future executive orders? Emergency orders, excuse me.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. What is in existence today was voted on in reaction to the current situation. At some point, I believe the current declaration of emergency extends through next month, but at some point, that will lapse and there will no longer be a state of emergency as declared by the governor. These provisions that we're voting on today are exactly the same ones we've already voted on twice, but all we're doing is, in essence, putting a bill on the shelf, if you will, that we can pull off if there is a reoccurrence of the current pandemic or whatever else might constitute a declaration of emergency.
I'm curious, Madam President, as to whether there was a selection process of all the laws we put in place for this emergency order. I noticed that there's nothing regarding evictions in your list. There's nothing regarding utility shutoffs other than water. How did you distinguish which ones would automatically kick in and which ones would not?
Madam President, I wonder if I could yield to the chair of the committee, Senator White.
The senator from Wyndham is recognized if she so desires.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, the two votes, I will expand on that just a little bit, if I may. We voted on them once in a number of different emergency measures that related to COVID. We also voted this exact bill last September, or toward the end anyway. We voted this exact bill over to the Senate, over to the House, and they did not have time to deal with it. So we have voted on each of these measures twice. In terms of, let me think. Now I lost my train of thought about the question from the senator was, how the selection process. We encouraged all committees to send us information that they felt could fit into this bill. We asked for that last year when we passed the bill. What we have in here is what came out of the Government Operations Committee. We did not get information from other committees about what should go in here, so we felt that we couldn't put them in here because we didn't have the information from committee chairs. What is in here is what is in the purview of government operations, licensing through OPR and municipal and governmental functions. That's how we chose them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. There's obviously a lot of other COVID-related measures that are in effect during the emergency order now. I'm not suggesting that they be put in this bill, but I was just curious, and the senator from Wyndham has answered that question. I do have one additional question. I don't know who to direct it to, and that is the wastewater or municipal water being covered here. Why is that in the bill and electricity is not in the bill?
The reporter of the bill, the senator from Rutland, is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, or Madam President. I believe the reason for that, Senator, was that we did get a request from the Chair of Natural Resources to include that in this bill. That's how it first came to light.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I believe there may be another question. The senator from Chittenden, the senior senator, is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I think some clarification is due. Some of the provisions that are in the bill directly relate to work done by health and welfare, particularly on medical licensure and those with a license that has been out of effect for 3 years, but then can practice during an emergency. And the Health and Welfare Committee continues to take testimony about this for an extension during the emergency, and I believe would support the provisions that are here. The other comment, just a comment, Madam President, and that is that Senate Health and Welfare started last, I can't remember now, but last year, May or April, looking at a broader bill to ask for folks to have a full draft of a new hazard mitigation plan for the state, because currently the state has a hazard mitigation plan that does not include health, did not include a response for a pandemic. And so now we've learned a great deal through this experience. So we'll be putting that bill together as I hope all committees will be contributing and then working with the administration so that we can come up with a plan that is more effective going forward. And by more effective, I mean allows us to respond with our and start much quicker than we did last time in responding to a pandemic. So that's just a comment, Madam President, excuse me. And I think this bill is a good start in that direction, and we look forward to supporting it.
Thank you. The senator from Chittenden is recognized. Senator Pearson.
Thank you, Madam President. May I interrogate the reporter?
You may.
Thank you, Madam President. I think just two quick questions, and I probably missed it, so forgive me. But one, is it accurate to say this bill doesn't change anything during the current declared emergency? Is that right?
That would be an absolutely correct statement.
And then the follow-on is I was reading the initial language, and it wasn't clear to me. Are we saying that when another emergency is declared by the governor, these provisions automatically happen, or do they become kind of tools that the governor can draw on in an executive order if the governor chooses at that time? That's not clear to me. We wouldn't want, say, a flood to change our licensing practice, maybe. This is obviously a very unique state of emergency where we're not meant to intermingle socially. So is this just sort of a enabling set of tools that could be used during a future state of emergency?
I appreciate the question, Senator. I think if you walk through the bill individually, you'll see in some cases the word may is used as a permissive suggestion, and in other cases there is a shall, which would mean that the provision would automatically go into effect upon declaration of a state of emergency.
Okay, well, thank you. So I'm not, so I don't know if it would be appropriate, but maybe now or before third reading, you could help us understand some of what we've authorized in the current state of emergency is not at all applicable during a future state of emergency. And I'd like to have some confidence that I understand which provisions we're talking about here.
I'd be happy to provide that, Madam President.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Are you ready for the question? And if so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered a third reading of S 87. This completes the orders of the day. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Pending announcements, I move that the Senate stand in adjournment until Wednesday, February 24th at 1 p.m.
The senator from Windham has moved that subject to any announcements, the Senate do adjourn until Wednesday, February 24th at 1 p.m. Are there any announcements? The senator from Essex Orleans is recognized. Senator Starr, kindly unmute yourself.
Thank you. Senate Ag will meet at 10:15.
Thank you, Senator. The senator from Chittenden is recognized, the senior senator.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Health and Welfare will meet at 10:10.
Thank you. The senator from Addison is recognized.
Senate Natural Resources and Energy will meet at the fall of the gavel. We have our first witness waiting. Thank you.
Thank you. I see a number of hands. We will get to all of them. The senator from Grand Isle is recognized.
Madam President, Transportation will meet at 10:15.
Thank you, Senator. The senator from Bennington is recognized. Senator Campion?
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Education will meet at 1:30 for a joint hearing with Senate Finance. Thank you.
Thank you. The senator from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Finance will meet at 1:30 for the same joint hearing.
Thank you. The senator from Bennington, Senator Sears, is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Judiciary will meet at the fall of the gavel.
Thank you, Senator. The senator from Chittenden is recognized. Senator Sirotkin.
Thank you, Madam President. Economic Development will meet at 10:15.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any additional announcements? The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Government Operations will meet at 1:30.
Thank you. And the senator from Windsor is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. The Senate Democratic Caucus will meet at 12:15. The link to that for the public is on the legislative webpage under announcements. Thank you.
Thank you. The senator from Caledonia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Institutions will meet at 1:30.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements? The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I was thinking about all of the difficult work that we have ahead of us this session and was thinking about how I could find some courage and resolve when we think about all of the difficult tasks ahead of us. And I was reading James Baldwin this morning, someone who'd been called the namer of uncomfortable truths and a man who explores the mystery of the human being. And he said something that really got me thinking this morning about how sometimes the real courage is just in the beginning. He said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. So I give you all strength and courage this morning to face all of our difficult challenges. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. Hearing no additional announcements, the senator from Windham has moved the Senate adjourn until Wednesday, February 24th at 1 p.m. Are you ready for the question? And if so, please unmute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the Senate stands adjourned until Wednesday, February 24th at 1 p.m.